They speak from the abyss. Zenith is a dungeon crawler, which is a fancy way of saying walk in one direction and get increasingly disturbed. It's also the standalone prequel to the original They Speak from the Abyss, which is coming soon. So, it asks an important question. What if the dungeon was alive, and also hated you? But is Zenith a meaningful homage to classic dungeon crawlers, or just a moody art project wrapped in spikes and suffering? Let's dive into the Abyss and find out. I'm Big227, and I love tactics games, I love turn-based games, but this game I'm going to have to give a slight warning about since it covers some pretty intense topics, and if you're disturbed by anything revolving around depression, anxiety, self-harm, anything like that, the game even gives you this warning in the beginning, you should probably click away or skip to a later section. So, it doesn't hurt me, it's alright, love you all. Zenith introduces you to Skyler Clark, and dumps you straight into the Abyss, a place that looks like a collision between a PS1 horror game, a Tool music video, and your worst sleep paralysis hallucination. It's a first-person dungeon crawler inspired by classics like Eye of the Beholder or Dungeon Master, but with a heavy dose of psychological horror and existential dread. You move through a grid-like world, explore disturbing environments, and occasionally ask yourself, why is everything pulsating? So, the introduction, the tutorial, is pretty much like a purgatory where you're going to walk around and Angel's going to be guiding you through this, not like gorgeous realm, but it's a light realm. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel. And you'll be battling basically different enemies. It's a few angels that you'll be battling. And the way they introduce it and the way they add the different mechanics behind it on not just the combat but the dungeon exploration really goes to show like, oh hey, this is what we're trying to go for, and we're really inspired by like games like Persona as well, and this is how we want to move forward with it, but at the same time it's very, very eerie and it's very uncomfortable to get through, but you still manage, and you still have to manage because the game is gonna beat you down. So let's talk about it in the next section. Battles in Zenith are turn-based, but here's the twist. You don't have to fight. You can commune. Yes, commune, like some kind of postmodern Pokemon Whisperer or even a Persona character. Fighting gives you power. Communing gives you knowledge. Both give you the same thing in the end, trauma. You're going to be traumatized by these battles. These enemies are horrific. You'll also be traumatized by communing with them. Seeing what these enemies will say to you, seeing what these angels will say to you, or a fae will say to you, and then rebuttaling back. So each encounter feels like a puzzle, not just a stat check. If you go in button mashing, you will lose, or worse, understand something about yourself, and that's more trauma. So this is one part that I had a lot of trouble with, and that is the puzzles and exploration. This game does not hold your hand, and the exploration in this game is absolutely insane. The Abyss isn't just full of enemies. It's also full of locked doors, strange symbols, and puzzles that range from mildly cryptic to why does this puzzle want me to bleed? Progression feels satisfying, if a little opaque. This is a game that assumes you'll read, think, and perhaps cry softly into your keyboard, just like the classics, and that's something I ran into a lot. It could very well be that it's just the demo, and I'm running into a lot of bugs, which I did run into a number of times throughout my playthrough. It even bugged at the very end of the demo, I'm assuming, where I couldn't even progress after defeating the final boss of the demo. And just exploring, like I got lost for what felt like hours at one point, trying to look for a specific boss or a specific item, and even exploring one of the club sections. The graphics was very difficult to see. I was clipping into things. It really didn't feel the best, and I do hope they iron out those issues in the full release, but it was really, really tough, even just like visually, to get through some things and just notice, oh hey, like it took me about 2 hours to find, I found an apartment key, and I was like, where's the apartment complex? And once I found it, I was like, it's in like one of the opening areas, and I would have never guessed it if I didn't just bump into the wall like I was playing Kingsfield and just hit the action button, and I didn't even realize it. So that's just something to take note of when you're exploring and playing through the game. Visually, Zenith nails the aesthetic it's going for. 2D pixel meets 3D low poly, absolutely perfect. Everything looks half alive and half rotting. It's disgusting, but it also works really well in the sense of, hey, we're not in purgatory, we're not in heaven, we're in the abyss, we're in some dark, decrepit place. And the UI feels like a 90s shareware title possessed by a demon. I absolutely love the aesthetic of the UI and just going through like the subsections. It's a bit like if Junji Ito got into ZBrush and then handed off to Clive Barker with a deadline of 3 days and no sleep. It is absolutely wacky, it is absolutely wild, and it's absolutely grotesque. And that's really what the game's going for. It's pretty much like, hey, what is the horror in your brain? What is the trauma in your brain? And turn it into these creatures, very like Silent Hill-like as well. And it really works. Like it's like Damocles was one of the ones that really stood out to me. And even the Disapartment Demon, she had no limbs, but they're like hanging around her. And it really, really plays into the game itself, where it's like, okay, this everything is trying to kill me now, but not everything is trying to kill you, and that's fun. The horror here isn't cheap, and I think that's something really, really important to note. Everything is very intentional. So it's not just jump scares and guts. While I did get jump scared a few times, it's psychological, existential, and unsettling in its restraint. It does not hold back. There are enemies out there that would just tell you to unalive them. Like, just, come on, do it. Just please. Like, put me out of this, it's tough. So characters you meet are full of sorrow, loss, and twisted logic. You're not always sure if you're helping them or enabling their descent. It's the kind of writing that makes you want to open a philosophy textbook and then close it immediately because the void stares back. And the void will stare back. Overall, though, I did run into a few problems while playing this game. Sometimes when I'm entering a new area and I'm trying to open up my map, the map just won't open. Things will constantly all the doors would constantly be closing. And it seemed like the quest, they would just keep giving me the quest if I left the area, but I would have to leave the area to complete the quest. And the only way to fix some of these issues was to just restart the whole game, or I would just get soft locked by going to the main menu and I wouldn't be able to log back in or load a save, anything like that. So these are a few things that did cause me some trouble, but the biggest issue I had was the ending. Fighting the fashionista boss where, she does a crazy amount of damage. She glitched out, but I beat her. I was trying to commune with her, but it didn't work that one turn. So I just kept fighting, but it didn't work. It kind of just like, I just kept punching her, and she ultimately met her demise by my fist. And then the game just stopped working. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't proceed, which is like, yeah, congratulations, you did it. That's it. Now you're literally trapped in the void. And I doubt that's what the developers wanted, but it's just something I had to bring up because it did bother me a little bit because I spent hours getting around, looking for things, trying to find notes. And it was just, I was literally lost in the abyss. I was gone. But that's really my biggest critique. Other than that, I love the game. Absolutely fell in love with it. So that's really all I have to say. And I'll close out with this. They Speak from the Abyss is a game that knows exactly what it is. A love letter to dungeon crawlers with a heavy layer of flesh, philosophy, and fear. It's not for everyone, but if you like your horror moody, your gameplay methodical, and your monsters uncomfortably moist, then Zenith might just be worth descending into. Just remember, when they speak from the abyss, don't answer back. You can try out the demo right now on Steam, and if you survive, let me know in the comments how it ended for you. I'm still stuck slamming myself into a doorway. So, that's really all I got today, guys. I'm Big Al. I love turn-based games. I love tactics games. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I had a really, really fun time with this. So, go show them some love. Bye!